Hello, and welcome to another episode of Crossing Bridges Talk Show. I'm your host, Larry Montgomery Sr. This is my co host, Will. Will, introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. I'm William Montgomery, and it's a pleasure to be here today.
Okay. Jeanette,
Uh,
our guest
Hello.
host, you can
My,
introduce yourself.
okay, hi, I'm Jeanette Montgomery, the guest host, and it's a blessing to be here.
Very good. Okay, this week, I hope that most of you have seen our new commercial encouraging folks to like and share the show. We want to build up the audience. We're looking to bring in at least a million hits during the course of the next 90 days so we can be the actual number one black talk show for men, black men, and children uh, in the world. And so
Yes,
that's the goal.
good.
Okay, good. Now, this week we're going to talk about toxic people. That would include family and friends. And before we kind of uh, put out some whatever research I've found, I just wanted to get some input, feedback from my co-host and my guest host. Who wants to go first?
Would you like to go first, Auntie? Ladies first.
Well, I like that one. That's a slick one. But anyway, I'll step up to the plate because I am a lady. Okay.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. This show is not long enough for me to tell you all the toxic people that have came across my path. Okay, I'm hoping that it's not contagious. Okay, because I don't think I or feel like I want to be toxic, but
Hmm.
I am in the process of removing all the toxic people out of my life. You
So
Okay.
know,
give us an example of a toxic person that you've run into and how you handled it.
so I would have preferred if you said if I ran over them. But anyway, um, a toxic person. Well, for example, where I live at, it's one of the residents where I live, and I live in a senior citizen dwelling. Because I'm of age, believe it or not, and and
No, we don't. But go on.
uh, thank you. See, I like that. I like that. So I'm gonna try to make this good. So for no apparent reason, she just harasses me all the time for no
Mhm.
apparent reason. And it's like beginning to get annoying. And I want to stay in my boundaries and I want to stay, I'm a Lord and a law abiding citizen. And I want to continue to be that way because the age that I am now, I'm in the process. I'm just trying to get myself prepared to look in the good Lord's beautiful face and thank Him for allowing me to be on this good green earth as long as I have, and to welcome me into His kingdom.
Mhm.
So the
Mhm.
other stuff I don't have time for, but it
Mhm.
seems to just find me. I don't know. Even when I'm in my own house. It just seems to find me, you know. And this lady keeps harassing me for no apparent reason, and I want to continue to be ladylike. The lady is bigger than me and taller than me and the whole nine, but I'm a gambler. So I think I take the odds. Hell, hell, I don't mind. I don't mind if if I get the lowest bets, I don't mind because that means you're gonna lose your money. You know, you're gonna lose your money straight up. But why does it have to be like this? And the sad part about it that it's always Afro American women that I have this collision with for no apparent reason. I don't bother them. I don't socialize with them. I don't even acknowledge them. And it's not that. that I think I'm better than anybody. But to be totally honest with you, because this is what this about, and this is for the world, because somebody else may be going through this, so I have to put my cards all on the table. I did say I was a gambler, so I'm using the card word. Okay, so I don't want to mislead anybody, to say that, in other words, that I don't want to beat this lady up, in other words. So I would rather do it the legal way, because but it's really hard when you're dealing with an illiterate person and a very unattractive person. It's hard to try to like sit down and talk to them, or you want to take them to their habitat, to try to make them feel good, you know. So this is the I have to balance things out. I have to find out what can I find, or I'm not gonna borrow nobody's clothes, but maybe I got something to spare in case dirt get on it or whatever. Because I'm going on up in your habitat because I want you to feel good and be at your best. You know. So, but I just can't get it, and it's always the unattractive women that bother me. And I'm saying to myself, why is it that I can't have pretty haters? So I answered that question myself. I said, because they're too busy being pretty, you know? So these rats or whatever that continue to bother me, well, I'm gonna say I'm a rat. Because if you get me up in the corner, I'm coming out of it.
Mm.
Full force. Okay? Full force. I ain't gonna be trying to explain nothing to you or try to run around you or jump. I'm coming out full force on you. Like that. But why I have to be like that? When I want to be, I am a God fearing person. I like to be nice because it makes me feel good, and I always want to have kind words to say to people and things like that, and stay to myself. And I can entertain myself. I have fun by myself. I learned that. I learned that to be by
Oh,
myself and have fun. You know.
yeah.
So
Oh, I
okay,
didn't mean to cut you off.
no, go
Because
ahead,
actually,
cut me off.
no, no, I mean, because you can't see, we're having a technical difficulty there. But anyway, we want to try to keep our comments to,
A minimum.
yeah, 5 minutes. But anyway,
Then
let's move
Then you
on.
got the wrong person on the show, okay? Because I'm a talk, all right? This is a talk show, right? Shit, don't put no limits on me. I'm a talk, all right?
Okay, yeah, not a problem. Will,
All right
did,
then.
did you want to throw
Okay.
something out there to help her out?
Yeah, come on in.
Uh,
Oh God.
well, I mean, like the topic is toxic people, and you find them anywhere and everywhere. Some people find them in their work environment. Some people find them in their families. Some people just find them in next door neighbors. As in my aunt's case. But
Mhm.
they tend to. It seems like they gravitate towards those people that get irritated the most. Because I mean, toxic people don't seem to be toxic to other toxic people, or they just don't recognize it. It's like the people that get irritated the most is like, yeah, you're a toxic person. Because I can definitely see it. You're making my skin. You make me cringe. Not choking crap out of you, but but yeah, toxic people they tend to find those people that are easily aggravated, or some people have patience and stuff like that, and they try to cut them some slack. But toxic people tend to just keep working that last nerve, and it's like they find it and they stand on it. Like, yeah, this is last nerve. We'll just be right
Okay.
here all day.
Okay,
Okay. Well, I,
well,
I want, huh,
go ahead,
Jeanette?
sir.
Oh,
No, you go
no.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I want to, kind of start with toxic relationships, and obviously relationships to people, because sometimes toxicity is shared. You know, two
Hmm.
people have some toxic issues, about them, or characteristics, a better word, and they find each other and they try to have a relationship. And sometimes because of your own toxicity, you can't recognize that of another person until it gets to the point of, as Jeanette said earlier, I'd rather roll over them than to roll with them. And so let me give some let me get started here, because it's and we can go from there. Is your relationship toxic? When you're in a healthy relationship, everything just kind of works. Sure, there are bumps in the road, but you generally make decisions together, openly discuss any problems that arise, and genuinely enjoy each other's company. Toxic relationships are toxic relationships are another story. And when you're in one, it can be harder to see the red flags. If you consistently feel drained or unhappy after spending time with your partner, friend, or whatever, it should be a sign that things need to change. Here's a look at some hallmark signs of toxicity in a relationship and what to do if you recognize them in your relationship. What does it look like? Depending on the nature of the relationship, signs of toxicity can be subtle or highly obvious. If you're in a toxic relationship, you may recognize some of these signs in yourself, your partner, or the relationship itself. So let me give you the list, and then we'll come back and fill in some of the gaps. Lack of support. Your time together has stopped being positive or supportive of your goals. Toxic communications. Instead of treating each other with kindness, most of your conversations are filled with sarcasm, criticism, or overt hostility. Jealousy. While it's normal to experience jealousy from time to time, it can become an issue if you can't get yourself to think or feel positively about their success. Controlling behaviors. Questioning whether you are all the time or becoming overly upset when you don't immediately answer texts, or let me see, text. Let me read that again. Questioning where is the word? Questioning where you are all the time or becoming overly upset when you don't immediately answer texts, or both signs of controlling behavior. Dishonesty, resentment, and patterns of disrespect. For example, being chronically late, casually forgetting events, and other behaviors that show disrespect for your time are a red flag. And so and one more here, ignoring your needs, going along with whatever your partner wants to do, even when it goes against your wishes or comfort level, is a sign of toxicity. Excuse me. Okay. Thoughts?
Well, I think that's a lot to unpack. Can we address them can you you read the first one again, and then we speak on that,
Okay.
and then that way it'll be fresh in our minds.
Let me pull that up. Hold on a second here. The first one was lack of support. Your time together has stopped being positive or supportive of your goals. Healthy relationships are based on a mutual desire to see the other succeed in all areas of life. But when things turn toxic, every achievement becomes a competition. In other words, you don't feel like they have your back. That would be lack of support. I can say that Kimmy's, she puts up a comment, "Hey guys, happy Saturday, good topic. You're supposed to be here." And I sent you the link. But anyway, let's go on. So toxic people. I've been in a relationship. I had a friend, I thought he was a friend, but I couldn't see the toxicity in the relationship until my wife pointed it out. I mean, we would get together and sit around and drink and talk. And then we get together and we sit around and drink and talk. Then we get together again and sit around and drink and talk.
You talking about me?
I don't drink with you, you know that. You don't drink my kind of liquor. But anyway. But anyway, this guy, okay. And so after a while, you're comfortable because you had somebody to talk to about things that are kind of interest, whatever, current events, politics, men stuff. And then every time I see him, why are you always coming to my house and drinking? You never bring a bottle. What's up with that? Then, after a while, I start thinking and say, you know what? I come to your house every now and then, and you never have anything to drink.
Mm-hmm.
So what's up with that? Then, so I'll invite you out. We'll go to lunch, stop someplace together after work or whatever. I'm constantly reaching in my pocket. Your hands is like, you just broke. That short arm, that alligator arm that just can't reach. Well, you can't get the check every now and then.
Yeah.
And so finally it got to the point whereas, she had to speak to me. She says, every time you with this guy is, you're drinking like a fish. I mean, really, it's you need to stop. And so I'm like, well, it's just, when I, whatever, we're cool. It's all right. And then I start to think about it, say, you know what? She ain't hanging with us, and she can see that there's a problem. I've got all this list of different situations. You never bring a bottle. You never have any money. You never reach for the check. You never invite me over to drink.
I'd have been killed him. I'd have been killed him.
And so, I mean, there's some other things, but that was the number one in my head. When I finally had to just say, I just got to stop this. I can't hang out with you no more, because it's not healthy, and it's not economical either. I don't have a problem with sharing the tab. I don't have a problem with paying my own way, but I don't have a problem giving, but if I'm the one giving, I'm the one paying, and I'm never getting anything in return, that's a toxic relationship. It's all about you, and I don't need therapy that bad. I got a wife. I can go talk to her. So,
yeah, because Joyce is very smart. I think Joyce is smarter than you anyway. Quiet as kept.
Wait a minute.
You're
about to get cut off.
Oh, damn. I'm going to hold my phone. You ain't cutting me off. Shit. I'm going to hold my finger on my picture.
Let's stop being toxic, people.
You don't want this to get toxic. Okay. Did anybody want to comment on that? That first thing was lack of support, or should we go on to the next issue?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, excuse me, hon. As far as the first one, like you was just stating that, every time he comes to your house, you have a drink, and then when you go to his house, he doesn't have a drink, and you take him out and this and that. That doesn't apply to me because if I'm drinking, you come to my house, you better have your own damn bottle. I ain't sharing it. Number one. Okay, you drink. You knew before you rang my bell that you drank, so you should automatically be prepared. Okay, I call that not toxic. I call that being unprepared. Shit, damn that. And taking you out to eat, I would have said, which way is the kitchen? Because he gonna be washing dishes. I ain't paying for shit for him. I'm paying for me. That's toxic right there on me. You trying to get toxic. You trying to get toxic on me.
Alrighty then. Will, can you help me out here, man?
Well, I mean, I think that is like part of it. I mean, I think that it begins with a lack of support, and then it just grows from that. Because like once somebody doesn't support you on like a small level, if it's not corrected, then it just festers and grows to even less support, and then even less support, and then next thing you know, they're like, I don't even know who you are. You know, it's like, you know, like I thought we lived together, but now I don't know you because, you know, support is non-existent. So, but yeah,
You know, well,
it is different
sometimes,
levels.
oh yeah, but sometimes you have people that you hang out with that no matter what you say, they got to be contrary. You ever have meet somebody like that? You know, you really can't hang too long with them because no matter what, they got the opposite opinion.
Well,
You
I
know,
don't mean to put nobody on blast, but I have a brother that's like that.
uh,
Corny.
okay,
Well, he will buy drinks. He will buy drinks. That's one thing. He ain't shy on that. He will buy drinks, and I think he be trying to get me drunk just to start with me. Now that's toxic. That's toxic. Shit.
yeah, I can understand that would be a problem.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
especially if they're going to be contrary. You know, everything is well.
Mhm.
It's sunny outside. Well, no, you know, the moon ain't up yet.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Okay, what they
I
got to do
mean,
with this?
the people I be around, as far as family, is very toxic, But sometimes you love toxic people. You can
Hmm.
get used to anything. So you used to the toxicness, so you deal with it in the best manner you can. That way you get home safe or get out the door safe or whatever. So I'm used to this toxic stuff as far as family members. But I love them. Hell, I'm toxic. Shit. Is that contagious?
No.
Oh, good. Good
I
Lord.
mean,
Good. I can get rid of my toxicness, huh? Yeah, okay, good.
Well,
Mm.
let's talk about controlling behaviors, which is an issue. Questioning where you are all the time or becoming overly upset when you don't immediately answer texts or phone calls are signs of a controlling behavior. And this is more for those people who are um, maybe starting out in a relationship, trying to figure out if this is something that could work. They were some sort of an attraction, and they're interested, and then suddenly, you know, let's say the next day after you meet them, they call you, and you're busy doing whatever, in the bathroom, who knows, and then you call them back when you finish your business, and they got an attitude because you didn't answer the phone when they did. Oh, here we got Kimmy now. Yeah. So anyway, Kimmy, how you doing?
Hey, family.
hey,
Okay.
Hey,
Now, so we were talking about
I can't
toxicity,
think of.
toxicity, and
Hmm.
and so people should be aware that while you meet somebody and then suddenly they start to like be in control, you know, that's a scary sign there. Uh,
No, let me. Well,
uh,
does it really have to do with just relationships, or could it deal with like friendships?
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well, a friendship is a relationship. It
Yeah.
doesn't have
Okay.
to be an
Well.
intimate relationship. It's a friendship
Oh,
relationship.
definitely not intimate. I want to say something because you hit the nail with the hammer or hit the nigga with the hammer, whatever. But I'm in a situation. My life is a situation.
Uh,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm in a situation right now, and I hope the person is watching because I do want to apologize to them. and it's my sister-in-law, Felicia. You know, we was in this route. We had this routine that but after 8, I'll call or whatever. And she has a routine that she has to have a coffee before she deals with you know anybody of the human nature. So I call. I call. I love her. I love her, but she's mad at me now too. So I just want to say I apologize. Because I might have been too pushy or whatever. And things like that. And I even said, you know, I called you 2 times already, and you didn't respond to my call. I'm gonna call you one more time. And here, look at me. I'm gonna call you one more
Being
time, and
toxic, right?
yeah. Why y'all let Kimmy on the show? But this is toxic. Now this is where toxic come in at. Okay? Shit. Living proof of toxic. So anyway, I
Wonder where
said,
I got it from.
hell, I don't know your parents. Shit. Anyway, anything go wrong in your life is on your father's behalf, not mine. Okay? And he was toxic. So y'all ain't got time to hear about him. Anyway, so what I was
Okay.
saying, I gave her an ultimatum. I said, I'm gonna call you one more time and you don't answer. I'm not gonna call you no more. So we haven't talked like in a week and 16 hours and I think 34 minutes.
And 45 seconds to be exact.
Yeah, that would be a red flag.
Yeah. I feel real bad about that too because he's just been so good to me. So, I just ask God for forgiveness and that, maybe she'll, muscle up and answer my call or something, you know. So anyway, but I just want to tell her she's gonna always be my girl, whether we talk or not, because hell,
Well,
I got.
maybe she might be in the hospital or something. You might want to go see her.
No, she ain't in no hospital. I don't know where the hell she's home. She might be watching the show right now. Who knows? Shit, I don't know nothing
Oh,
about that. I ain't
okay.
saying you talk about toxic. You ain't talking about keeping a track on somebody, are you?
Well, that would be toxic if you're keeping track on
Oh,
somebody.
and you damn sure right about that shit. That's how toxic I am. You know,
But
I'm
if
not even aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
if I
Well, see, these are things that if you see it in the relationship, you might want to address it. You might want to. I'm not saying confront, but I am saying confront the person and say, listen, we cool, but you got to take that GPS off of my back. I I don't run for you. You know, you call, and if I feel like talking to you, I'll call you back.
Yeah.
Otherwise, do what you do. You
You know,
know?
I
Right.
really got to get out of the habit because if I call my kids, they don't answer. I'm calling them back and forth until they text me and say, "Is anything wrong?" You think they would have the decency to call me and say, "Mom, what's going?" They text me, "Mom, is anything wrong?" And I say, "Yes, you're not answering the phone. Shit,
No,
answer the damn
Toxic.
phone." I'm the
that would be
man.
an issue. But then you got to find out from their perspective. And I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth at this point, because you got to find out from their perspective why they didn't feel compelled
To
to uh,
answer the phone,
to
because
either answer the phone or to call you back once you left a message.
well, let me
On the
answer that for you right quick. You can end that. I think they don't like me.
No, they could have been in the bathroom.
I don't think like that. Hell, we
I understand that.
bipolar. We don't
That's
think
what
like
see
that.
that's what you got to do. You got to ask them. Well, I called you yesterday at noon, and you didn't call me back until today. Was you in the bathroom all that time?
And Kimmy will say, I probably was, Mom.
Now you got to figure out what hospital she should go to, because that's a problem.
You gotta get that
No,
fixed.
this is her motto with me. This is when I'm getting on her nerves, she go like this. Oh
When you
ma, I gotta
get
call you back. So,
toxic,
yeah,
uh-huh.
okay, when I'm getting toxic, ma, I gotta call you right back. Somebody called me this and that. But before she hang up that phone, I said, don't bother. Call me back whenever. You ain't got to call me right back, cause I know you're
If
not.
you're
You
watching,
know.
take notes. Take notes. You're gonna learn something. That's all
Yes.
I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Can your kids be toxic? Can your kids be toxic to you?
yeah,
It
because
can go
Well,
both ways.
you raised them to be toxic. You know,
yeah,
you put them in a position
There
where they
you
think that
go.
it makes sense to be annoying as hell, and
Right.
and now
Hold
they
on.
grown up and they figure that this is how it works. You
Mm.
know,
no. It's not a
personally,
mother.
as I was about to say out of the other side of my mouth, if I call my kids, and William is one of them, and you don't call me back within a reasonable amount of time, I'm feeling some kind of way. Now,
Hmm.
I might be very concerned about you. That would be one way to feel, because you
Right.
usually do call back, or, I might feel a different ways because you ain't calling me back.
Mhm.
So
Hmm.
it just happened that the other week with Will, when he was out, he was sick,
Yeah.
and we know that he's a few hundred miles away, and usually if we call him, he calls right back. And so when
Right.
he didn't call right back, I got concerned, you know,
Exactly.
and so but I know him. Well, I think I know him. I put it that way. And if he continued to do that, I would have been very, very concerned, which we did get very, very concerned,
Mhm.
and we
Right.
called
Mhm.
a neighbor to go and check on him. Okay,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
that's an unusual situation for us.
Mhm.
Now, I can certainly understand, like I said, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, both sides of that coin. You know, I think it would be
Hmm.
disrespectful for him to not call me, because I don't call you to waste your time.
Mhm.
If I'm calling, I don't call you for frivolous whatever. I call you for a reason, because I don't have a lot to talk about unless I'm on you.
You listening? You listening,
If I ain't
Kimmy?
on you, I ain't got a lot to talk about. Okay.
You, excuse me. Are you listening, Kimmy?
But
I'm all
anyway,
ears. I'm all ears.
Kimmy, let me give you an opportunity to talk about some other toxic relationships you
Oh, you
may
better
have
not talk about me,
experienced.
cause I put a couple pair of sneakers in my backpack and I'll be on the highway. I like 20. 20 will take me right to Columbus. Shit. Mess with me, and that you think I'm toxic for real. If I ain't, when I get there, I'll be toxic and tired. Shit.
All righty then. Kimmy, you got the floor.
Okay, well now I know what not to talk about. So let me choose my words carefully. Okay. I mean, I guess when I think of toxic, you know, I'm thinking about, in a maybe in a relationship, with a companion, maybe with someone. I think that, when you realize it's really getting toxic. I mean, I think that a healthy argument is okay. And I think that we really have to know the difference. It's okay to, disagree with someone on something, but when you start to realize that it's on a consistent basis, or, it just becomes a completely different outlook or perspective on something, that's when it's starting to get toxic. When there's no reasoning, when there's no way to compromise about anything, and everything seems like it's like a tug of war almost. I think
Hmm.
that's when it starts to become toxic. And
Hmm.
I think that I didn't even realize, and I almost hate to admit this, but even arguing in front of children is toxic. And I'll say that confessively, in front of adults. Like, I didn't know that that's toxic. I grew up and, aunts and uncles or whoever, argued all the time in front of each other. So for me, in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's just a simple little argument. I didn't realize that, that does affect you. So even
Mm,
me in my adult life, I had to constantly apologize to my son and let him know, like, I'm sorry that you had to see that,
Mm.
because I've never received those apologies. I've never heard someone say, I'm sorry that you had to see that. I'm sorry that I argued in front of you. You know what I mean? Because it
Oh,
just
I'm
could
not
be a
gonna say
matter of just not knowing.
this is a learning process for you when it comes to me. Because if I throw up my hands and knock somebody else out, I'm not gonna apologize to you about nothing. I said, did you see what I did? Did you watch the move I made? Okay,
Take notes, right?
that's not toxic. That's a learning process.
Check the
Shit.
angles out,
so
right?
a learning moment. But yeah, I certainly understand what
Right,
Kimmy's
right.
saying, and
Yeah.
it is an issue, and it is a learned behavior. Because if it happens in your childhood in the household, you think it's okay when you become an adult and you have your own household that this kind of behavior goes on, and the children, they only know what they've heard. They don't know the backstory sometimes, or they don't understand why we're having this argument. You know what I mean? Um, Especially when it comes down to, let's say, cheating. You know, you get on your partner because you caught them or you suspect them of cheating. You're probably not going to start the conversation with, well, who the hell was you with last night?
Mm.
You're going to say, where was you last night? Now, I know you wasn't at work.
Right.
And the child, that's all they hear is, well, where was daddy? And he wasn't here. And then it just goes ballistic from there,
No,
type of
no,
thing.
no, not with me. Excuse me, not with me. I don't do
Right.
that. I don't do that. I wouldn't say, where you was last night or you didn't come home. I would just say, did you say goodbye to that person? Because you're not going to see him no more because you're getting ready
Ever
to go.
again?
Ever, never.
Mm, mm, mm.
Shit.
Yeah, well, if that's
So,
how it would work, that would probably be good, but it usually doesn't work like that.
mhm.
There's a lot more cloak and dagger going on
it,
there,
it'll put a
and what they
stop
call
to it, I bet.
lies to justify what had happened.
It'll put a lot of a stop to it. That's for sure. You know, that's
Yeah,
how I think. That's just how I think.
I understand. I understand, and that's fine. But there are some other things about toxic relationships. One would be, hold on one second. I just want to pull up for myself to remind me. I don't want to go too far off. Ignoring the other person's needs.
Can I
You
jump
get
in
in a
real quick?
relationship with somebody that all they want to talk about or do or deal with is the things that make them happy. They don't want to take the time to understand or learn about the things that make you happy. You see? And that's not a good relationship. But sometimes people put up with it because they think, well, um, I'll, I'll, I'll get them to come around. You know, I'll keep working with them until they come around. And the reality is, they're already grown. They ain't coming around nothing anymore.
Mhm.
Either they brought it with them or you got to fix it. One of the two. you
Yeah.
know, because that's who they are. It's all about me. And
Mhm.
who cares about you? But then when it gets to the point of like you're actually sick of this, I don't like it like that. I don't like you like that. Now you got to figure out how to get away from them. You know?
Mhm.
Can,
Okay.
can I throw one caveat out there?
Sure.
It was about the last topic,
Uh-huh.
because you mentioned like if it starts in the beginning of a relationship, but another red flag would be as if this happens years into the relationship too. If somebody starts being controlling after 3 years of being in a relationship and they start being controlling and doing these toxic things, like that's a huge red flag because it's like this is not how you were when we started, and now you're being this way. So that's a huge red flag. I just want to throw that out as a caveat.
Yeah, sometimes people get, comfortable with you or they figure you out. They're just sitting there waiting for their opportunity after they've understood what you will do at this point, what you'll do in this situation, type of a thing, and then they want to come forward and take control. That's a problem. And yeah, you've already invested some time with them and some feelings and emotions with them, and you're starting to see this. So what do? You know, one thing might be is you want to sit down and have that conversation. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? You know, the other week such and such happened. You know, and I was wondering what was on your mind when you did that. You know, yeah, you want to have that heart-to-heart conversation, and then based on the responses from there and their next response, you have to make a decision, because that would tell you that this ain't going to change. This is, they don't understand me, or they don't want to understand me, or they don't give a crap about me, you know. And me and Will had this conversation on the show a few months ago about the questions that you should ask, and we were talking about a real relationship, going somebody you might want to consider marrying. What questions you should be asking them before you commit your heart to them. You see, you know, there is that moment there between I really like you and I really lust you, and then I really want you type thing. You know, there's a moment in between each of those, and those are the moments that you got to take, and you got to see, look, let me get my questions together to get a good sense of what this person is really about. And they may be fun for for the short run. You know, they may be fun for the what they call that the every now and then road, but for the long road and the long haul, this one ain't gonna work. You know, and the only one's gonna get hurt in it is gonna be you, because you sat back and said, well, it's okay for now, and I'll get to them later on, or and I'm not talking to anybody here personally. I'm just talking, generally, for anyone who might be listening, to give some thought to it. There are a lot of questions that you really need to have answered about someone, and have some kind of confirmation. I just want to ask you a question, you give me an answer because you thought you was passing a test. I want to know what you really think and what you would actually do in this situation if it came up. Because again, we talk about marriage. That's a real commitment. Where you're saying, look, for better or for worse, I'm going to be with you. You might be into it, but they may not necessarily be there. And God forbid you get in a relationship with them and you depending on them to hold up their end of the bargain. And the first thing you do, oh no, hey, that's too much for me. I can't do that.
That's possible because for better or worse, it could come to that. I don't know if if you signed up for that, because if you wind up cheating on me, that's where the worst part come in at. So for the better or the worse thing, it depends on how you look at it. That's how I feel about it. And far as toxic or or sit down and talking about this, I'm like, in my world, I'm kind of lost, because you sit down and I'm gonna discuss your finances, your ability to handle stuff, and if you can get your ass up and go to work every day. That's what I'm worried about. That's it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's
However,
the other stuff is minute to me.
No. See, because how many times have you heard situations where, let's just talk about man and a woman married or whatever, and the man is getting up, going out to work every day, and ain't got no job.
Oh, damn, you messed me up right there.
I know it did, didn't it?
You done messed me up right there.
Oh my goodness. I went through that. I went through that personally firsthand. Oh my goodness. Not a good feeling.
Right. And so you need to kind of have an understanding and some confirmation before you go down that road with them, that how far will they lie? How far will they go? I mean, I can understand it's embarrassing you lost your job, for whatever reason, either it was you or they laid you off or whatever. I understand that. And I could also understand how sometimes it's yo, listen, the economy is against me. I do brickwork and everybody's now into the cardboard. I can't get a job. So now
You
I
know,
got to
but
figure out what I'm going to do, huh?
yes, I have suggestions. I have
Hmm.
suggestions for that. You lost, honey, you lost your job. They're not hiring the type of work that you do. We
Hmm.
need money, or I need money, you
Hmm.
know. So I think, maybe you may consider going into another field, to get your money even quicker. They got all these banks all over that you can just walk in and say a couple of words, and they'll start throwing the money in the bag, and you run as I'm gonna tell you, run as fast as your ass can, because you need to get back to me with that money, the red bomb and all that. I'll try to wipe that stuff off as best I can. Okay, and
Yeah, that works. But I'm going to put up
it's
the little
possible.
sign that says "Do not follow that direction," and
No,
you
no,
can
no.
put that right up there. Do not
Okay, no,
follow that direction.
you put this up there. I'm just talking about me. I don't
Yeah.
get whatever you do, whatever floats your boat, it floats your boat. Hell, I don't need paddles. I use my hands. Shit, the boat gonna be moving. We may be moving.
Let me know how that
You are
works out
too
for you. But
much.
anyway, for us in the
I
real world,
wanna I wanna give a quick shout out. I wanna give a quick shout out to my sister. Today's her birthday. Before we come off,
Happy
happy birthday,
birthday.
Shay. Today's her birthday.
Happy
So happy
happy
birthday,
birthday,
Shay.
birthday.
Happy
Shay.
birthday,
Love
Shane.
you, love you,
Yeah.
love you.
How old
Yeah.
are you now?
I don't
Mm.
think she's gonna answer.
She ain't old enough to whoop my ass, that's for sure. Cause she's young.
Oh God.
So she's young.
Okay.
Anyway, let me kind of close out this topic, at least for this portion that we've talked about it for. When it comes down to dealing with people who you feel or you see are toxic, and you kind of run out of ideas of how do I get out from under this situation. The easiest way to do it, or the recommended way to do it, is to when they call you or invite you or want to whatever, your response should be, I need to think about that. Let me get back to you. And then don't. After the third time, they'll get the point. You ain't interested no more. Okay. It usually take them about a couple of weeks to figure it out that you ain't interested in talking to them or following up or accepting any invitation. I need to think about that. Um,
Mhm.
let me check my calendar and I'll get back to you, type of
My
a thing.
timeline is 24 hours.
Yeah, I know.
That's it. Shit.
You'd be waiting by that phone after 72 hours and still trying to figure out how come I ain't called you
Uh,
back.
no. Within 72 hours, I'll be waiting at their door. Okay? Damn the phone. Shit. The phone will be done when dead with me standing there.
Calling.
Yeah, yeah. I know. But you
Shit.
got the point though. I'm still thinking about it.
Mhm. Well, you don't
So
have to think much longer with me. I'm right there to get the answers.
okay. Let me close out this meeting. Will you have your announcement you like to make?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. We would like to extend an invitation to our viewers to send us recommendations for topics. And if you would like to be a part of the show, also send a request through the comment section, and we'll see about getting you onto the show.
Okay. Kimmy, you want to say anything else other than your shout out about Shay's birthday?
No, just thank you for having me. I enjoy being on the show, and I definitely enjoy the topics. I think that they're very helpful. And I like the recommendations that you brought up for dealing with dealing with toxicity. Very helpful, and I hope that whoever's viewing will take that into consideration when you are dealing with someone who's been toxic in your life. It could help change things.
Okay, thank you. And next week we'll be talking about um, one of Jeanette's favorite topics: people with mental illnesses.
Oh, for sure.
Good
For
topic.
sure. Yes, for sure.
That ought to be
Yeah,
really, really interesting,
yeah.
Mm.
because
We
now that
we
all of you know
Oh,
what the
yeah.
topic's going to be, you have an opportunity to bring something to the table.
we need to start now on that topic.
All right, let
Yeah.
me say good night and goodbye and thank you, and we'll see you again next week if the creek don't rise and it's God's will.
God
All
bless
right.
you. Please
God
don't
bless.
rise.
All right.
God bless.